of Campaign Zero, and Gyasi Ross, co-host of Breakdances with Wolves, the Breakdance with Wolves podcast on Indigenous Pirate Radio. Thank you all for being here. Let me go to you first, Sheriff Bilal, and welcome to the show. So we do know that just based on the statistics, and this was a piece that was actually co-authored by one of your co-guests, Phil Atiba-Goff, shows that Black Americans are disproportionately subjected to police abuse of force. So we know that that is the baseline we're dealing with. But the reaction that police officers have to the reaction of Black people and of people now in general, it's now 74% of Americans, to that reality. The police department's reactions are generally seem to be just defensive. You had all of those officers resign from that police force because two of them were disciplined for shoving an elderly man to the ground and making his head bleed. You had the Minneapolis police chief who has called the protests over the 8-minute and 46-second compression of the neck of an innocent man. The reaction to that, the Minnesota police chief has called those protests a terrorist movement and called the police officers heroic. What is happening inside of the police departments in America?
That's the great, first of all, thank you for having me. That's the great divide. Sure. It has been in our culture and its institution for such a long time. As far as those officers, 50 resigning out of protest, I would say to them, bye, Felicia, because they should go. Because if they didn't see anything wrong with that, then they shouldn't have been on the force from the beginning. We are not run by a Gestapo group of people in our communities. We cannot have that type of behavior. And this has been going on for decades. So at this point now, we should be fighting for those who want to be on this job to treat people fairly. And for those who don't, say bye. Get them out of here. Because those of us who want to do this job right want them gone anyway.
Do you find that police officers, particularly Black police officers, brown police officers, and Indigenous police officers who see this happening, what is it about? Why don't they say anything in the moment so often? Why so? I mean, that group of officers in Minneapolis was racially diverse. There was, it was a very racially diverse group. They were not 4 white officers. Why do you, in your experience as an officer, why don't police say anything when they see something like that happening?
I spent 27 years on the Philadelphia Police Department. It takes courage to stand up. It takes courage to stand up and stop the nonsense. It takes courage. You got to know who you are as a person, that this job that you got, if they somehow get to you, you can do something else other than do this job. So it takes courage to stand up. A lot of cops, some people, this may be the most money they ever made in their life. And so therefore, they rather say, I didn't see nothing, I don't want no trouble. Well, then trouble should be on you because you are African-American. Whether you're African-American or not, let me take that back. If you want to be a law-abiding citizen, if you want to be a police officer sworn to protect, then your job is to pull out, call out, stand up against those who take this institution for granted and do wrong to the community in our neighborhoods or in our community at large. I'm saying this. I'm Black first. I wore a blue uniform. I wear black. Some people wear black uniforms. But I'm Black first. I'm a human being. And when people in law enforcement treat human beings in that manner, they should be gone. And I'm saying this to all of them. None of that is right. But we've been crying out about this for such a long time. Look, this is not new, what's been going on. We now got videos, and now they say, don't believe your lying eyes to some of the videos. And so now we got a nationwide protest. Protest is in our DNA. We had to protest to get here where we are today. We need to keep protesting until we have equality and fair treatment under the law like our Constitution says it's supposed to be. So let them boys, bye, Felicia, let them go.